Over the course of 8 months, I've been working on my cross-cultural, collaborative, and interdisciplinary capstone project for the remote First Nations island community of Masset, Haida Gwaii, BC. Sprout Spot is a 3D printed seed germination and educational system that targets opportunities that include food sovereignty, self-sufficiency, and classroom engagement. Carleton University School of Industrial Design, Sprott School of Business, and GTN Secondary School have come together to create an innovative and empowering systems-based solution. Sprout Spot addresses food sovereignty from the ground up by propagating seeds. This will shift consumption and reduce Masset's heavy reliance on imported goods. It will also create hardier plants and increase yield. Sprout Spot utilizes local manufacturing via 3D printing and sewing for complete self-sufficiency. Sprout Spot also fosters experiential learning by allowing students to extend the learning environment wherever they see fit in order to enhance classroom and community engagement. During the initial stages of the project, my group and I, the Coast Industrial Designers, conducted extensive group research. This allowed us to understand the specific and unique context that exists in Masset. Additionally, our weekly Zoom calls with our remote partners fostered key relationships and allowed us to have insightful discussions. I found an innovative, low-tech, and inexpensive growing method that uses wool fabric. I created a self-watering and root pruning seed sleeve that holds the plant and dirt inside. After finding my niche and opportunity space, I sketched, 3D printed, made cardboard models, sewed fabric sleeves, germinated seeds, and utilized Gravity Sketch, a VR digital modeling tool, to test, prototype, and learn. Then it was time to travel to Haida Gwaii. We flew to Vancouver and braved the storm into Sandspit, took a ferry, and drove up into town. Over a week, we soaked in the experience by collecting rocks on the beach, going on bike rides, and exploring the wilderness. We talked to locals, got a tour of the GTN school and their greenhouse, and asked many questions. Being immersed in the culture and in the elements really expanded my view and allowed me to understand things that were not available to research beforehand. Most importantly, I conducted a design workshop with the students, where I explained how 3D printing will allow the remote island community to manufacture anything they need. Additive manufacturing shatters supply chains and is perfect for low-quantity production. The students were very fascinated by the possibilities of 3D printing and were excited to see where the project would end up. I got the opportunity to listen to all of the students' unique perspectives in group brainstorming sessions, where I then distilled meaning and gained insight. The scope and depth of my project changed when a student mentioned how she would like to have a pet plant and grow strawberries in her room. This, in turn, made me shift my focus solely from food production to include an interactive educational element. Now I needed to make my concept more portable and define a vertical storage element that would act as a hub or docking station. Now, the students can store their Sprout Spots compactly in the classroom while monitoring the progress of their plants inside. When I returned to Ottawa, I got back to the drawing board, where I began to finalize my design. I made some SolidWorks models, exported them to the slicer, and sent them to the 3D printer. I also experimented with different materials, thicknesses, and tolerances to perfect the design. Sprout Spot is the longest and most in-depth project I've worked on to date. This project taught me how to be a team player amongst an interdisciplinary group spanning different time zones. It taught me how to listen, interpret information, and adapt the course of the project accordingly. Ultimately, it taught me how design can be used to impact and change people's lives.